I've got a question about this. They say it's based on a comic, but it's almost more inspired by the comic.
That would be
change
true,
the names,
right?
You change all the background stories, and even the punctuation of the title. So, how did you choose which elements you wanted to pick from it, and did you get any pushback from DC?
We did not get any pushback, and I honestly, if there's an amazing element in all of this, it's how supportive and lovely the creators of the comic book have been to us, because I was terrified that they would hate what we've done to their comic book. They've been full-throated supporters. Certain things, certain changes can be easily explained. We knew we wanted to have a case of the week. In the comic book, she works in a cemetery digging graves. That wouldn't have given us a murdered body each week, so moving her to a police morgue was how we were going to get that case of the week. They also have multiple monsters, they have ghosts and were-terriers and a whole bunch of different, and it really plays the supernatural. True Blood was just, they had done the multiple monster thing, and I was a little leery of going down that path. And then I will just say my own, this is a strange, I can't even explain this. I like a lot of zombie stuff. I almost always like the ones that are a virus. I like fake science more than I like supernatural. I never know quite how to write supernatural, because it feels like you can, a magic spell could make everything go away. And people write it well. I love Game of Thrones. I love the bits of magic that they have in it, and yet as a writer, it feels like a tool I don't want to pull out of the toolbox. I will screw that up somehow. So weirdly, fake science I'm on board for. Supernatural, I don't quite know what to do with. So that was part of why we made that change. And I will say that when the way the show was originally proposed to me, it was the head of development at Warner Brothers, Susan Rovner, this executive who I really respect, and I was busy editing the Veronica Mars movie, and I'd already sold the pilot to Fox, and I had no time or room, and she kind of came to me and put the cover of the first iZombie on my desk and said, CW needs a kick-ass female hero. This is it. We need the next Buffy. We need the next Veronica. And the way it was pitched to me was it was the cover of the comic book they wanted. It was never no, read this. We want all those stories in there. It was look at this girl. And it's a funny thing because one of the things we struggle with in the writer's room is that all the other zombies smartly go undercover. They tan, they dye their hair, and it would make things much easier for Liv if she would do similarly. But our whole raison d'etre was that comic book cover, and hoping that at Comic-Con there would be people dressed up like Liv, and that would be the poster, and that poster would sell the show. And so much has been done just based on that comic book, the original comic book cover. And I loved, one thing I was really happy in a nod to the comic book, I was so pleased with how our main titles came out, that we could make that nod back to the source material. And Michael, I couldn't love our title sequence more than I do. It was, I like our bits of comic book tie-in, even though I know we've strayed considerably from it.
Creatively, how would you say the show evolved? I mean, you obviously came in with a vision of what the show was going to be at the beginning. I would imagine that over the course of the first season into the second season, it's changed.
Yeah, there are a couple of things that have changed. I would say that there's been an evolution. If our scripts are probably usually 55 pages, and I would bet in early episodes 32, 33 of those pages were devoted to the case of the week. The A story was what we were really thinking about and focused on. And the evolution was I think we started arcing back the other way, where instead of 3 red herrings in the murder case, we're going to have 2, and we're going to get that person to confess at the end of the episode very quickly, because we want to move 7 pages over from the A story to all of the cool zombie mythology, the soap opera, and I think, at the end of the day, I think that mix has been better for us. And then, I think we also learned what the better brain types are for Liv to eat, if that makes any sense. Like, there are certain things that are hard for an actress to play and hard for an audience to digest. Like, if Liv is on sociopath brain, where she's emotionally disconnected, it's hard to know. Like, has she stopped acting? Is she on the brain right now? Is she just being silent? Whereas if you have her eat cheerleader brain, it's big and loud and fun, and it's an easy thing to write jokes for. So I think we've gotten a bit better about learning what's more fun on screen for Rose to play and for us to write to. Yeah.
We've seen lots of great guest characters from Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
Will we see Kristen or Enrico maybe in the future?
I hope so. Right now it would be like, I've talked to Kristen. Right now with a brand new baby, I don't think we'll see her in season 2, but she's game for doing it. So I think somewhere down the line it'll happen. We do have a Veronica Mars joke in episode 1, so it's like she's there in spirit. But yeah, in fact, we actually originally went to Rico to play the head of Max Rager, but he was too booked up for that, and I couldn't love Steven Weber more than I do, so I'm really pleased. But we had originally gone to Rico for that, but that will also happen. I want to see a bunch of. I'm eager to have a Jason Doreen storyline. In the first episode of season 2, we have an actor named Adam Rose who probably did a half dozen Veronica Mars. He played Max, who dated Mac in season 3 of Veronica Mars. So, and then we always love bringing Darren Norris back. But we're hurting our brain trying to think, how can you bring the local weatherman into mini stories? But we love having him on the screen as well. So you will definitely see more of those. Thanks, everyone.